Welcome, everyone. Let me see what we got here. Testing, testing. Is that better? Testing, testing. All right. Let me look for something here real quick, and then we will get started. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us live. We have a lot to do, a lot to say tonight. I'm talking about mental health tonight. We're going to talk about mental health tonight. Question of the night is, do you have a mental health problem? It's a serious question. We're going to talk about some serious stuff today. Because this is a big, big issue in our society today, mental health. In the Christian world, in the church, and of course in this world we live in. And I want to address this issue here in the next 2 or 3 sessions that we're going to be dealing with, because mental health affects kids, affects youth, affects mothers, affects fathers, affects families. And it is actually really, I believe, destroying our society amongst so many other things in our world that we live in. We live in a crazy world. Who would agree to that? Yeah? So let's talk a little bit about mental health tonight. I want to welcome everybody that's watching us on Facebook Live, YouTube. I really appreciate you joining us. And so let's get started. I want to welcome, my name is Orlando Salinas, and I am a proud member of the Choose the Change Mentoring Program. The Choose the Change Mentoring Program is a self-supporting Christian-based group sponsored by the Choose the Change Foundation. There's no fee to attend this class, but we do encourage donations from our members and to anyone who believes in what we are doing. The only requirement for membership, if you want to be a member here, is a desire to change your life. In other words, if you don't desire to change your life, then nothing I say is going to make any difference, and you don't need to be here. But if you want to change your life, and maybe at least thinking about it, then you're in the right place. Fair enough? If you're watching online, we are on a mission to restore families by inspiring, challenging, and equipping men to become better fathers, husbands, and leaders in our community. So if you're ready to change your life, you're in the right place. Through this program, you will learn exactly where to start your life change journey, tools and resources to keep you going, which is what we're going to talk about today, is a tools and resource information, and of course a support system to help you reach your goals, to help you move forward, to get where you want to get in life. We believe in the life-changing power of God through faith in Jesus Christ. These are 3 key principles we believe in. We believe that God has already done his part, and that it's your responsibility to learn to do yours. That's how it works. And the 3rd key we believe in is that success or failure is a choice. And guess whose choice that is? Well, guess. Your choice. So if you're ready, say, I am ready. Let's do this. Guys, welcome everybody once again. Mental health, I want to address this problem. For some reason, this subject of mental health has really been crossing my mind and my eyes, and everywhere I turn, people talking about it, the news, family members, friends, and of course I see it all around me. And I thought it'd be a powerful topic to address. So the question is mental health a real problem? Is it real? Well, let me take a vote here. Who believes here that mental problems are real? That would be me. Let me ask you another question. What's the solution? We're going to talk about that here today. We got some right here. In case you're wondering what this is part of the solution that is offered in the world that we live in. And I want to share with you tonight that there is a solution. I believe God can help us. I believe God can help us. And tonight I have a very special guest that you're going to hear from. And he's going to share how God helped him. Because this is a serious issue, it's a serious matter, and I think we need to address it. And here in the next sessions that we're going to talk about today and next week and the following week, I think, I'm going to ask for your input, especially if you're watching online. I want your opinions, your thoughts, because I've been researching these for years, and in the last 2 weeks, I've been watching debates, I've been watching videos, I've been hearing doctors, I've been hearing all the or many of the opinions out there. And today, I want to present to you an opinion. And I have to say that it's my opinion. Otherwise, I might get in trouble. It's my opinion, based on my vast experience of watching and hearing and working with men, families, and teenagers. So, before I turn it over to our guest speaker, which you're going to hear a powerful story today, a powerful, powerful story of a man that had some very serious mental problems that, like everybody else, was looking for some solutions. And I think he has a story that you're going to want to hear. But let me leave you with these 3 thoughts before I pass it over to our guest speaker tonight. If you feel like you have mental issues, let me tell you something. You're not alone. You're not alone. See, because I used to think that the way I thought was only me, that I was a crazy one. And I'm telling you, you're not alone. You'd be amazed, you'd be surprised of people that have these issues in their lives. Teenagers, adults, fathers, everybody. It's real, it's there. So I want to address that idea. The second thing I want to leave you with before I change this to my friend here is, well, let me continue with this one. I really like this idea. The reason I told you that, and that you're not alone, a friend of mine, he said, because I reached out to a few friends of mine, businessmen, preachers, evangelists, friends that have dealt with mental health themselves, that have overcome. And one of them is a friend, he's an evangelist. And when he was young, he was put in a mental hospital because he tried to commit suicide. It was, when it's just really serious. And what he told me was, here's what I learned, Orlando. When I got into that mental hospital, I found out that I'm not as crazy as I thought I was. When he saw other people with much more serious problems than he had. I thought that was a pretty amazing insight. The second thing I want to leave you with before I turn it over is that as a Christian, I want you to know that your faith is not broken. It's not that you don't believe enough. It's just God is still there. God is still real. God is still working. But I'm just going to let you know that your faith is not broken. And the third thing I'll leave you with is that there is a solution. I like that. There is a solution to our mental problems. Because we have many. I promise you, we have many. And for me, that was a relief. For me, that was exciting. That there was help for me. And I'm so glad that I decided to seek the help, and I found it. My solution was the same solution that this man I'm about to introduce you to took. He tried other solutions. He tried what the world offered him, and he came out empty. And I wanna introduce you to a good friend of mine. He's an amazing man. He's a soldier. He's a soldier for sure. You know, spent 28 years in the service. Uh, when I met him uh, and I started talking to him, he's a very intelligent man. But just like me, he was looking for solutions. Except that we just went to two different jails. I'll let him tell you more about that. But please help me welcome a real good friend of mine, Alex Almanza.
Thank you, brother, for that awesome introduction. We're going to go ahead and get settled in here. Let me get my timer ready. Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Alex Almanza. And you may not know this, but I used to suffer from a mental disorder. I used to suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. You couldn't tell it now, but there was a time when I was homeless, and you couldn't tell it now, but there was a time when I was divorced, no children, and you couldn't tell it now, but there was a time when I was at my wit's end. I was ready to end it. I was ready to end it, but you couldn't tell it now. Let me tell you a little bit about mental health. Mental health happen in many different ways, many different reasons. Okay, let me just get real quick cover it. It happens. You're either born with it sometimes, right? That's called cognitive disorder. You may be born with ADHD, bipolar, something like that, along those lines. I'm not going to cover all of them. You probably develop it throughout the years, and that is due to an experience, right? Usually a traumatic experience. It could be a sexual assault, a physical assault, or neglect. You can also develop mental disorders that way, right? How do I know so much about this? Well, I went to school for it. I went to school, and I actually became a licensed chemical dependent counselor. And this is my certification by the state of Texas that says I'm a licensed to counsel people with drugs, substance, or alcohol issues. But before I went to college, I was in the military, like Brother Orlando said. I was in the military. I was in the Army. I joined in the Army right after high school. And because I was in the Army for so long, there was a couple of wars that happened. So I got to go to two of them. Lucky me. So I went to war twice. And each time I went, I didn't come back the same, because war is something very ugly. Now, you don't have to be in the Army. You don't have to be in the military to experience war. You don't have to go where I went to experience traumatic events. This happens to everybody. Doctors just don't call it PTSD. They call it something else. They call it depression. They call it anxiety. They call it whatever, right? But you don't have to experience what I experienced. Bottom line is, if you ever been diagnosed with a mental disorder, I'm with you on that, okay? So this is what the world uses to diagnose mental disorders. This is the DSM-5, right? This is what the world uses to diagnose people like you and me. This is what these people, these psychiatrists, psychologists recommend. This is a type of treatment. This is about 2 years worth of medication. Everything from sleeping pills to mood pills. All of these are what we call psychotropic drugs. Okay, this is about 2 years worth. So this is another. This is what the psychiatrists will tell you. What the professionals will tell you. Right? They will also tell you that there is no cure. They will tell you there is no cure. There is no magic pill. Right? There's no magic pill. You can't take something and, hey, you know what? I'm healed. No such thing. How do I know? I went to school for it. I went to school for it. And I got 2 bachelor's degrees. I got 2 bachelor's degrees, one in criminal justice and the other one in rehabilitation counseling. I'm also a counselor. So this is what they're telling me in the classroom, because I wanted to know why they were giving me these, right? And so they would tell me, you just have to take them. Just take them. And oh, by the way, you have to come see us once a week so we can talk to you. That's what they would tell me. And so I did it. I didn't know any better. So the Army diagnosed me with 90% crazy. That's what they said. They have a formula. I don't know how they do it, but they have a formula, and they're able to tell you how crazy you are. Of course, they don't tell you crazy. They use real fancy words. But nonetheless, that's what they diagnosed me with. Well, you know what I did with the other 10% once I got kicked out of the Army? I went and I drank myself. I took drugs. And so I escalated my drug use after the military. I didn't have nothing to hold me back. I was no longer in the military. Not only that, but because I was diagnosed with a disorder, I used that as a get out of jail free card. I used that diagnosis to define me. I would always tell myself, you know what? If I was to ever get caught doing drugs, if I was in front of a judge, I would say, Judge, hold up, Judge, hold up. This is my get out of jail free card. I'm diagnosed with PTSD. You got to let me go. That was my get out of jail free card. Can you believe that? I believed that diagnosis. When this didn't work, I turned to this. Because this didn't work. Many of us give up. We give up because we think there's no hope. And we just we feel like our family members are better off without us. We feel that our friends are better off without us. We feel that we are better off dead. I'm not telling you anything that I don't already know or have already done myself. Everything I tell you here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is fact. I lived it. Some of you may be living it as well. But let me tell you all something. There is no magic pill. We don't need it. There's God. This is another thing that I used. It's called the Bible. In here, I found all the answers that I couldn't find here. I found all the answers that I couldn't find here. And I found all the answers that I couldn't find here. These has all the answers we need. Do you want to cope? Because that's what they tell you. These are coping mechanisms. These are not going to heal you. Do you want to get healed this evening? Or do you want to cope? That's a question that each and every one of you have to ask yourself. Do you want to get healed? Or do you want to cope with and keep living with whatever it is that you've been diagnosed with? Okay? Because there is no magic pill, ladies and gentlemen, but there is a God. And only He can heal you. Not all the drugs in the world, not all the medication, but God alone can heal you. I told you earlier, you would not recognize me 7 years ago. I don't deserve to be here. I either belong in an institution, in prison, hospital, or dead. But God gave me a second chance. Now, I'm married again. I have children again. I have my sanity again. And I found out that I'm not as dumb as I thought I was. This is a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling. You add all these together, that's 4 degrees. 4 degrees. I have an associate's in psychology. I understand psychologists. I understand how they think. I understand what is being taught in the classrooms. I get all that, which is why I'm able to talk about this topic, which is why I share my experiences on this topic. I'm no one special. No one. I just happen to be somebody that I believed I could be healed. That's the only difference between you and me. I believed I could be healed. I've known many people who have chosen this route. Many friends are no longer with us. And it's a shame. It's a shame. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. It's not fair. Again, the only difference was I believed and they didn't. That's it. That's all it takes. It's your decision at the end of the day. It's your decision. I can't do it for you, but I can tell you what you can do if you make the right decision. I'm no longer homeless. I have a family. I have a profession. And that means more than anything to me than all these degrees. All these degrees don't make me who I am, just as much as my past does not define who I was anymore. Let me tell you some of the formula to what worked for me. I'm going to give you a simple formula. 1, believe in a higher power. Believe in a higher power. If you've ever been to AA, they will tell you the same. Believe in a higher power, whether it be God, whether it be your family, your children, whatever it is, believe in that higher power. Number 2, become active. Be active in your community. Volunteer. An idle mind is the devil's playground. Be active. Stay busy, but busy in a positive way, because we can sometimes be busy in a negative way. Be busy in a positive way. Surround yourselves with positive people. Surround yourselves with good people. Right? If you're still hanging around, lingering with the people who got you in trouble, how are you going to change? You're not. Hang out with positive people. Last but not least, go to church. I always advocate that. My belief, and you will not hear this in the classroom, but I believe that church is a good aftercare for any disorder, not just substance or alcohol, any mental disorder. Especially if you can find one, if you're lucky enough to find one that is always active, always doing something. Throw yourselves in that type of church, whatever it is. Throw yourself in that type of church. Stay active. I just happened to find one that was perfect for me and one that I believe that God dwells in. Surrounded by family, people I love, people who love me. It's very, very important. Support group. Find you a support group. You can't do it alone. Can't emphasize that enough. Can't do it alone. We as men sometimes we try to kid ourselves and believing that we can fix everything. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen, men, women, you can't do it alone. You need something. You need people. You need God. You need Jesus. That's what worked for me. Again, all this, you probably say, nah, that's too easy. That's too easy. It would never work for me. I know there's doubters out there. Guess what? I was a doubter. Had I changed before, I probably wouldn't have hit rock bottom when I did. Probably. And that's, again, if you're a doubter, that's okay. Come around. If you doubted in the past, come around now. Okay? Come around. Give yourself a chance. Give your family a chance. You have to love your family more than you love you. Love your family. Remember that everything you do, everything we do, affects everybody around us. Especially our family, especially those we love. Make smart decisions. Make smart decisions. We're adults. Let's make adult decisions. Those are the very simple things that brought me to where I'm at today. I'm not telling you to stop drinking, taking medication, because it all comes down to your faith. For me, I came to the altar and I asked God if he would heal me, that I would follow him. But before that, I debated with God. God speaks to us in many different ways, shapes, and forms. I remember sitting in my chair during a service, and our pastor asked for an altar call, which means, are you ready to receive Jesus Christ? And again, I was a doubter. I said, God, if you can heal PTSD, if you can show me PTSD in the Bible, I will bow to you and I will dedicate the rest of my life to you. That was my deal with God, because I thought I was going to fool God, because PTSD is not in the Bible. It's a modern term. But you know what God did? He showed me what PTSD was in the Bible. He showed me Mark 5, 1 through 20, when it talks about the demoniac. The demoniac was somebody who nobody could control. He had many demons inside of him. I'm not talking about physical demons. I'm talking about spiritual demons here, folks. Demons, anger, bitterness, depression, anxiety. The list goes on and on. God showed me those are demons that attack me. So I made that deal. He showed me, gave me a revelation. I got up from my seat. I went to the front of the altar, and I asked him to be my Lord and Savior. And since then, I've been serving him. This is about 7 years ago. I'm proof that this works. I'm proof that this doesn't and this doesn't. So you decide. The decision is yours. I hope you make the right decision. And I'll pass it back to my brother Orly. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening to my testimony. Again, I am nobody special, but I'm just here. I'm just somebody trying to tell you guys, show you, if you make the right decision, what it can do, what the long-term effects can be for you and your loved ones. So if you've lost something, if you haven't found what you're looking for, open up one of these. That's all I got. Thank you, brother.
Test mic. Leave it on, brother. I'm gonna see if people have questions. Thank you, Almanza. Really appreciate that, guys. I don't think I gave him enough time because, but maybe I made that mistake. I should have given him more time. But does anybody have any questions for him? Does anybody have any questions? Just at the top of your head. Any questions? No questions? Serious topic? Serious topic, right? No questions? Anybody have any questions online? All right. I wanted to just lay a foundation to this evening on this issue because I want to elaborate more on this issue here in the next couple of weeks that I'm going to be sharing. You know, just a couple of things that caught my attention. One thing I like about Almanza is that we come from two totally different worlds, right? Two totally different worlds. I spent 13 years in prison. He spent 28 years in the army. You know, I spent 10 years of putting needles in my arm. A loser drug addict, loser father, loser husband, right? Robbing the store for one more hit, my daughter's 4th birthday. I know the craziness of drug addiction. I know how crazy we can be. I know how wicked we can be. And it starts at a very young age. So, you know, and I see that. And the solutions for our problems that were offered to us was the same. One of the things he said is that he made a decision. You know, I came up with a process because I really used to think this when I went to rehab for the first time. I told you last week, I think. I thought they were going to put me in a hospital, put me in a white thing, you know, diagnose me, take my temperature, and give me a pill and go home and you're going to be okay. I really thought that. And then they started talking about steps and having to do this and having to do that and having to forgive myself. And I said, what? It's mental. But we don't get it. We don't get it. We're somewhere in la la land. Because we're twisted. I call it twisted. He calls it crazy. And the doctors call it something else. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. When you're at night alone, trying to go to sleep, that twistedness in your mind, we all have it. The only question is, what are you going to fight with? That's it. That's it. What are you going to fight it with? Most people are suffering, dying, dealing it with this. Or they're using this one. He brought a gun. Because that's what some people use, right? But like Almanza and like me, I remember I had to make a decision. And I personally, I bowed down to Jesus Christ. That's what I did. Yes, that's what I said. I bowed down. Because that's what you're going to have to do. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. If you want to change your life, if you want relief, if you want deliverance, if you want to change, if you want to stop the voices in your head, you're going to have to fight for it. It doesn't come easy. Because the way it works is like this. I'm going to try to put it as simple as possible. You either run to the doctor or run to God. Period. Sometimes you need both. But what I did is I ran to God and I said, God, help me. And he helped me, delivered me. And what he taught me was, okay, now go fight. I'll be with you. I said, wait a minute. I thought you were going to help me. Yeah, I'm going to help you. But you're going to have to go fight. Let me prove that to you. And I want to read a scripture to you as we close. Because I didn't understand the fighting part. I thought, again, it was going to be easy. There's no easy way. Let me show you the fighting part that I was taught. And I didn't understand it, but today I understand it very profoundly. And many of you may know this scripture I'm about to read to you. But this is your fight. This is your fight of the Christian life, of the mental health problem. This is the fight. It says like this: so though we walk in the flesh, we do not war against the flesh. See, you think your mother's your problem. You think your sister's your problem. You think your husband's the problem. You think your kids are the problem. You think they are the problem. Listen, here's the problem, because it's a war. And the war is in the mind. And you're going to have to fight. Right? Who's had to fight? You had to fight. Not physically. No, that's easy. That's easy stuff. That's the easy part. Any idiot can pull a trigger, right? Any fool can pull a punch, right? Anybody can go to prison. But the fight, the right battle, he says, for we do not war against the flesh. For the weapons, there's weapons. And this is what I want to talk about in the next coming weeks. There's the weapons of our warfare. They're not carnal. They're not physical. And that's why you have such a hard time. Because they're not physical. See, you're used to controlling things, right? You're used to, man, I'm going to control that and take care of this, right? Us men, macho men, we think we're going to control it. We're going to control it. No. No, you're going to bow. That's what you're going to do. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. What is a stronghold? Well, glad you asked. Casting down imaginations. Tell me where this is. And every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing into captivity every thought. It's a fight. Who's ever said, oh man, that's just the way I am? Who's ever said that? That's just the way I am. Right? And it's true. That's just the way you are. And that's a problem. That's your problem. And you make it somebody else's problem too. Right? I know how it works. I remember using drugs, getting all crazy. I'm not hurting nobody but myself. There you go. Man, you came to the right meeting. There you go. See? Right? Isn't that what we said? I provide. I have a roof over my shoulder. My kids have food. Right? I ain't hurting nobody. See, but you were fighting the wrong war. We have to fight the right war. And I want to talk about that this coming weeks. I think it's going to be important. Another thing, I'll leave you with this. Another thing he said was the reason that he made it is because he chose to believe. I've been hearing that more and more in sermons, in teachings. He chose to believe. But you know what the other one, and the other people chose not to believe. It's that simple. I remember listening to that and I said, wow, it's that simple. And that's why I came up with this, believing in the impossible. Because just believing is a challenge, right? Just believing is a challenge. And to believe in the impossible for your twisted, wicked mind to change is a feat. But that's what we have. That's the fight. Does anybody have any questions here as we close? Any comments? Maybe you have a comment. because I'm going to pass around our donation uh, bucket. I here, let me. You know, we're raising money. On the 21st, we're having a backpack school backpack giveaway, and we're having a booth for to choose the change. So, if anybody wants to help us with some donations, we're gonna buy some gifts. It's gonna be like we're having a fall festival, back to school festival for the kids. So what we do is in our church is we give away backpacks to kids that well, if anybody wants to sign up for them, they can get free backpacks full of school supplies for the people that can't afford them, or the people that can't afford them but they try to sneak in anyway. Well, we got to give them to them. But in any case, we're raising money. We're raising to put our little booth together. So if you like to donate a little extra, let us know or put it in the bucket. I really appreciate it. We're going to continue doing what we do. You know, continue fighting the good fight of faith. Continue fighting for men. Continue fighting for fathers. Continue fighting for families. Continue fighting, because I know it's a fight. Who knows it's a fight? Who knows? It's a fight. It's a fight. And if you give up, well, and this is why I do what I do, is I challenge men. Because you men, I don't know if you realize this, but you men play a major part in our society. And we've dropped the ball. Many of us men have dropped the ball. And that's why I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. There's other people doing what I'm doing, I think. But I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing, challenging you, challenging men to rise up and become the fathers, the husbands, and the leaders that we so desperately need. Because one of the major problems in our society, and why so many families are broken, defeated, with mind battles, is because there's no leader in the house. There's no father. There's no father. That doesn't make it, even if you have a father, that doesn't mean things are going to go great, but at least there's a better chance. So guys, I want to thank you for coming tonight. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions online? I have a question. Alex, give Alex the mic. Alex, how long ago that you, because I remember when Alex came to our church. Alex came in about 8 years ago, Alex?
About 7.
About 7 years ago. And I remember him coming in. I remember his sister talking about he was going to come to church and that he'd been out of the military. And I remember I remember watching him. He'd just sit there every service. I don't know if it was a month or 2 or 3. I don't remember. But one day I remember, because in our church, we always ask people after the service if you want to accept Christ, if you want forgiveness. Every single service. And I remember he'd just sit there, and then one day I saw his hand go up. And it's like, wow, that's pretty cool to watch. And ever since then, he started his transformation. And here we are 7 years later with 4 degrees. That's powerful. A family in his right mind. I know you might think he's crazy, but he's in his right mind. But he had to fight on a daily basis. And that's powerful stuff. When he just chose to believe in the impossible for his life. And that's how it works. That's it. Wow, what was the question? Well, when did he come in? That was the question. Which was 7 years ago.
Orly, I just wanted to add one more thing. Is the question is not, can God heal? The question is, do you want to get healed?
That's right.
That's the real question, because God can heal. Jesus Christ, the blood of Jesus Christ can heal anything. Mm-hmm. But do you want to get healed? Because I talk to a lot of people, and the only reason that they don't come to Christ or want to be healed is because they're either receiving benefits. That is one of the hardest things, is to convince somebody to give up those benefits.
Yep.
to trade that in for sanity, for happiness, for joy. A lot of people use that as an anchor, and a lot of them believe that Jesus can heal them. However, they would rather have the benefits.
Yep.
It's a shame. I was taking 9 different medications. Some of them on a daily basis, 9 different ones. And some of them I had to take 2 to 3 times a day. And if y'all know anything about psychotropic drugs, they have side effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, one of the things I've been doing for research for all this, and I have a few notes. I have a lot of notes, again, that we're going to be going over. But one of the things that I saw,
Yeah, the other question was, how did I feel? Well, I went home after bowing my knee, after accepting salvation. I went home that evening, and I had no symptoms. I had nothing that was there before. It all went
Wow.
away. Just a total miracle.
wow, that's awesome. That is incredible. Incredible. Believing in the impossible. It's pretty cool stuff. And that's what we're a part of. I don't know what you want to be a part of, but this is what I want to be a part of. Changing lives, helping people, restoring families. So guys, if that's all we have, next week I'm going to be going over this subject again. I've been watching debates, I've been watching videos, I've been watching about this very subject, and it's interesting to hear the both sides of some people believe in meds, some people don't. Some people believe in God, some people don't. So here's what I came up with. It's all a matter of what you believe. That's pretty powerful. It's all a matter is about what you believe. And that's what we're going to keep on talking about. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next week, 7 p.m.